Why is my viewfinder black? Here it helps if you take the cap off. What up, nerds? Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie, and today on the channel, I'm just here to talk about what I've been reading recently. I have a couple of books that I finished, a few that I'm in the middle of, and then I have a few but I've got my eye on to read next. First, I have a few new books that I picked up that I thought I would show off. I picked up Swan Song by Robert McCammon. Recently, I watched the, I think it's only got one season, and they call it Silo, but the book series, the first book is called Wool by, I cannot believe that author's Hugh Howey. So I read that, we watched it. I decided to start the audiobook one day while I was cleaning house. Loved the book much more than the show. Ended up finishing the book, loved it, quit the show because it was just not going in the direction that I think the book was. And I was like, man, I forgot how much I love apocalyptic novels. So I searched around. I was like, all right, what's some really good apocalyptic books I haven't read? This was one. I've heard a lot of my friends talk about this one over the years. So I picked up Swan Song to scratch that itch. I also got The End of the World as We Know It. It's an anthology of stories that take place in and around Stephen King's world, The Stand, which is also post-apocalyptic, if my memory serves. I haven't read that book in maybe 40 years. No, I'm 48. I didn't read that book when I was 8. I read it when I was in junior high school, but it was a long time ago. I remember the gist of it, but I want to reread The Stand, and then I want to read this because a lot of authors that I love have stories in here, so I want to make sure I have everything fresh in my mind to read that. Another anthology that I picked up is called Swords and Larceny, and the reason why I picked this one up, it has a short story in it by Stephen Aryan, and it's in one of the worlds of his series that I have read and loved, and I can't remember what it was. I just remember he wrote about it in a newsletter, and I was like, okay, whatever story world that it comes from, I love. I went ahead and pre-ordered it immediately, and it came in the mail the other day. I just put this down and didn't even tell you. Swords and Larceny. From my understanding, this is a bunch of short stories that are about heist, and who doesn't love a good heist, especially in a fantasy setting? So that one I'm going to be picking up and reading soon. I'll probably read that one before I get into the whole Stand reread and all of that, because that book, if I remember correctly, is like that fat. I have it sitting over there. Oh yeah, it's a brick. So let's talk about the two books that I finished this week. The first one is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. It's the first book in her series Fae and Alchemy. Oh man, this one I completely read it for the romance. I'm not gonna lie. The characters, the two main characters, their chemistry was just melting my AirPods. It was so hot. I feel like I'm blushing. I feel a little hot talking about it. This one was so good. I told y'all last week when I updated you, I was not reading it for the plot, that I don't even know what the plot was. I just wanted my two characters to get on with their romance. Once they did though, once I got that little scratch itched, I then started paying attention more to the plot, and I was like, okay, this has a little bit of an interesting story. And by the end of it, I was like, wait a minute, I want to read the next book because I want to know what happens next with what's going on in this story. Not the romance though. I'm so here for that. I also looked up the narrator. So our main character, Saris, is narrated by Stella Bloom, and Anthony Palmini does Kingfisher. Oh, he does such a good job. So as I mentioned, it's a fantasy romance in which Saris Fane, who lives in a desert kingdom, she lives in the Third Ward, which is the poorest, most looked down upon. In fact, they're actually quarantined from the other wards. They are not allowed to leave their ward. Now, she's a thief. She actually steals water because they get a very few ounces of water rationed to them per day. It's not enough to sustain anyone. And because of her thieving, she finds herself in a situation which leads to all kinds of shenanigans, goes sideways, and she is transported accidentally into a Fae realm where she meets Kingfisher, who she actually thinks is death when she first meets him. Because of what's going on, she's like, oh, this is death. Death hath come for me. I am on my way out. Now, once things settle down, she discovers these mysterious powers that she had always had. She didn't understand. What they mean is she's an alchemist. And Kingfisher's people actually need her to help them fight this war that they're waging in their realm. And if she allies with Kingfisher to help him, he will in turn help her get back to her realm so that she can save her brother and others that she loves. That part did not capture me until the end, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. Now, it took me a long time to buy into the hype of this one. I am so glad that I did because I loved it. And the second book, I don't have as long a wait as everybody else did when they read this one at release. It's coming out November 10th? That sounds like it might be the right day. I don't know. It's a Tuesday in November. I've got it on my calendar. I'm going to pre-order the audiobook and I will let you all know how it goes. Hopefully the author lives up to book 1 and it is a raging success. My second book that I finished, well actually it's a novella. I finally had my hold come available through Libby for Exit Strategy by Martha Wells. It's a science fiction series that she is still currently writing, I believe. I think it's still ongoing. The Murderbot Diaries. So if you saw recently, Netflix had the first season of Murderbot with Alexander Skarsgård. That reawoke my love that I had for the first book. I read it years ago and I never finished the series. So once I saw that show, loved it so much, went back, I reread book 1, and then I have continued the series. Now this isn't any series that's going to go down in my top sci-fi series of all time. No, but it is a comfort read. I enjoy it. Book 4, what I love so much about this series takes place in the first book. The first book is still my #1 favorite of the series. Book 4 is second, and it's because we're reunited with a lot of the characters that I really enjoyed in book 1 and book 4. So we've come sort of full circle in an overarching plot that's been going on in all of the books so far. Now I will admit the first part of this book was a little bit slow. It was a slow burn, meandering, and I think it's because our main character is a robot. It does have some organic human, I don't want to say parts, but it's got some human stuff attached to it to make it not look so scary, I guess you could say. But for the most part, it is a bot with software. It has some feelings and emotions because of the human organic parts it has, but not really. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think it's difficult to write a character that doesn't have the same emotions as we do, and that may be why it was a little boring at first, but once things ramped up, they ramped up quick. So I've already put a hold on book 5, and my library's like, it's gonna be 8 weeks. I'm like, people, listen faster. I am doing the audiobooks for this one. They're narrated by Kevin R. Free. Now, I did notice there is a dramatized version that's got a whole cast of characters. Haven't checked that out. I've been listening to Kevin R. Free through the whole series, and I think I just want to continue with him. The dramatized audiobooks sometimes I find distracting. I don't hear well, and if there's stuff going on other than the narrator's voice, my ears kind of pick and choose what they're going to focus on. So I prefer audiobooks to just kind of be vanilla. So that's everything that I've finished reading this week. I'm still working on One Piece Volume 19. I actually say I'm still working on it. I didn't work on it at all this week. I just kind of left it by the wayside. I don't know. I wasn't picking it up, probably because I was too busy. This one really got good. A Game of Monsters by Ben Alderson. This is the 4th and final book in the Realm of Fae series. It's another Fae fantasy romance, actually, but this one has a fantastic plot. I do love the romance, though. Ben Alderson is one of those authors that does things that I don't like, but he does them so well that I loved it. And he really turned things on their head again in this book, and I'm going, I don't like where this is going. I do not like where my little love story is going. I don't like it. Oh, okay. maybe I do. And, while I'm still trying to debate on what I'm thinking about, where my love story's going, the political scheming and intrigue, angels and demons, the battle of good versus evil, and what is good and what is evil, and what delineates, and it's perception. It is all about the perception of the person who thinks they are good or evil. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. Loving this one. I am over halfway finished. I'm going to have it finished by the time I talk to y'all next week. And then I'm also still working on Grand Conspiracy by Janie Wirtz. You're going to get tired of hearing about this one. I read a little bit of this each day, and this is my dessert. This is the book that I read just before I'm going to bed for the night. I get in bed, I crawl up with it, and I read until my eyes do the whole long blink thing where I close my eyes and I open them again, 10 minutes have passed because I've fallen asleep. It's just one of those things that this is a reward. This book, this series, this author is a reward for me at the end of the day, and I just cannot. I know I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to be so sad when I no longer have any Janie Wirtz left to read. I'm so thankful that she is still a living author with us. She is still writing. I hope I don't run out for a very, very long time. And there's one more, Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. This is a dark retelling of Snow White. It's so intriguing. Now, I am listening to the audiobook. I got it from my library, and Jennifer Pickens is the narrator. This is the first time I believe I've listened to anything narrated by Jennifer Pickens, and I love her. Her tone matches the tone of the story and the character Anya perfectly, in my opinion. I'm only about 25% of the way through, and we're really still getting to know Anya. Anya is a scholar who specializes in finding antidotes for poisons. When she was a child, one of her cousins thought they were eating a carrot, and it turned out to be hemlock. And 2 hours later, he was dead. And that awoke something in her, a desire to know, why did he die? Could it have been prevented? Why doesn't anybody know if there's a cure? And it's just an adult told her, well, nobody's found it yet. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that no one has found it. And that awoke this desire in her. And she just began learning all of this stuff and just experimenting. And she does it a lot. She does experiment on roosters first, and her reasoning is hilarious. And if you have ever had any dealings with roosters, you're going to understand 1,000% what she means, and it is the God's honest truth about roosters. But she uses the antidotes on these roosters first, and then herself, because you have to do human trials and you have to get the dosages right. And so she has been contacted by the king. He showed up at her house one day, and he's like, look, my daughter Snow is being poisoned. We don't know yet. I don't know yet if she actually is. She's just been possibly grieving. She's been secluded in this out-of-the-way country little home. And Anya and the king and all of the people that travel with the king are on their way there, and she's going to attempt to try and figure out what's wrong with Snow. She understands that the pressure is there, because what if she fails? What does that mean for her and her family to be basically seen as fallen from favor by the king? So I am not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure who Anya is at this point as far as from the tale of Snow White. Is she going to be the witch? I don't know. If you've ever read T. Kingfisher, especially her dark retellings of fairy tales, then you know to expect the unexpected, except the unexpected just, I don't know how T. Kingfisher does it, but I'm glad she does, and I hope she continues to do it. She is an auto-buy author for me. Just love it. Now, so far, I have no idea what to think. I don't know what to think, actually, but I'm enjoying myself. I am very curious. I like being in the perspective of Anya and how her mind just will think about something that's going on around her, and then all of a sudden she just starts chasing rabbits in her own mind, and just her intellectual processes. I love it. So that brings us to what will I read next? Well, I do have an arc that I signed up for. I was just contacted by the author that it is just about ready. I should be getting it next week. And as soon as I have that, that's going to be my next physical read once I finish A Game of Monsters, which I'm going to finish that this week. Once I finish Hemlock and Silver, my next audiobook is going to be a reread, In the Hills Above the Grist Mills by Calvin Ellis. This is the first book in the Paisley Mott mystery series. It's a reread for me, and it is about Paisley Mott. She's a YouTuber who is a paranormal investigator, and this case comes on her radar. She's trying to start this series that she hopes is going to take off and really kickstart her career, but there has been this discovery in this Appalachian village town of 7 women. Their mutilated bodies have been found in the woods, and the preacher of this little village has contacted Paisley Mott to come out and hopefully shine some light on the situation and help them get it solved. It's been so long since I read it that I actually cannot remember who the killer or killers are or were. So I'm excited to get to revisit it. I'm wondering if I'm going to catch the clues to be able to figure it out or get enough of my memory jogged to remember who it was by the time it ends. And then I'm going to break it up. I do have the audiobook for the second book for Paisley Mott, but before I get into the second book, I'm going to break it up. I'm going to work in The Execution of Rooker Flynn by A.R. Witham. This is the third and final book in the Locke Institute trilogy, all about the pirate Rooker Flynn, who we first meet in The Legend of Blackjack, which was a standalone novel that Andy put out. Gosh, how long ago has that been? I cannot remember how long it's been now, but absolutely love that book. So this series, this trilogy, focuses on Rooker Flynn, but we get to see a lot of those beloved characters that we met in The Legend of Blackjack. So this is the third book in the trilogy. It is about this prison island that Rooker Flynn has found himself a permanent resident of. He has tried to stage a revolt. It failed. The escape plan has been crushed. Secret weapon has been confiscated by the headmistress of the island. There is nothing left to happen except for the title of the book, The Execution of Rooker Flynn. I don't know what's going to happen. I cannot wait to find out. This is narrated by the author himself, who is an absolute amazing narrator. Oh my goodness. Andy's a total package. Outstanding author, outstanding narrator. It's not fair when somebody has that much talent, but I'm glad that he does. Can't wait to find out what's going to happen next in that one. And that's going to bring me to the end of this week's video. That's all of the things that I've been reading, what I finished, what I'm working on, some new books that I'm hoping to get into soon, and what I got lined up to read next. So you'll have to let me know what you all are working on. Are you starting to get together a spooky season TBR? Myself, I don't particularly worry about doing a specifically spooky TBR because I read horror year round. Love it, can't get enough of it. So that's going to take care of me for this week. Hope you enjoyed hearing about what I have been working on. I am so excited to hear about what you've been reading. Let me know in those comments down below. Have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you in the next one.